I recently attended an author event and it didn't go super well. So that's what we're going to talk about today on Good Time Writing. Welcome to my writing vlog. I'm romance author Lori Thorne, if you haven't been here before, and this is where I just keep you up to date with my writing and author type experiences, and we're going to get real with it today. So I recently attended Flirty in Tampa last weekend. That's why I wasn't here with you last weekend. It was the second time attending this event. I've attended numerous other events, so I kind of know what to expect. And I want to share some of that to authors who might be thinking about dipping their toe in the water of author events. Because I've been there and I've done that at this point. And if it could be worth it to you to do it. It is to me, even when they don't turn out well, like this last event. But that's a decision for you to make, and maybe I can help you weigh pros and cons. So I'm gonna break this into three sort of sections. The first is what to expect for your return on investment, I guess I would say. The second is, okay, you're going, who do you bring, what do you bring, how do you behave, how's it gonna go? And the third is finally just like weighing, okay, is this the right thing for me? So what is the expectation? To go to these events, you are a vendor. You have to pay money to be a vendor at this event. And depending on which one you're going to will depend on how much it cost. Flirty in Tampa did not cost very much. It's not the lowest cost, the one that I've been to, but it's one of the lower cost ones. It's about, I think, $180 for a table. So not nothing, right? But they go up from there. So again, all a part of the balancing act. But what I will tell you is that even at lower cost events like Flirty in Tampa, you are almost certainly not going to sell enough books at the event to offset that cost. Don't plan on it. Even if you bring your A game, which I'll talk about what that looks like here in a second, you will probably not sell that many. For context, in my first Flirty in Tampa, I sold 15 books, which was not too shabby, still did not offset the cost. In this edition from last week, I only sold 6. Definitely didn't offset the cost. Now, the cost of my books was slightly higher. It was still a lower performance than the year before, but I digress. You are not going to make enough money to offset the cost. The reason to attend lies in other areas, for sure. But let's say that you did decide to attend. What's it like? Well, it's really fun. And that's one of the reasons I would say it could be worth it. You meet lots of other authors, you meet readers, you're making connections. However, there's a certain way that you're expected to do that, right? So your realm at an author event is your table, and you can decorate it however you want. I'm gonna show you a picture of mine. So I've got my sign. That's actually the reason I have this sign, is to bring to events. I've got things that people can pick up and eye catchers on the table. A lot of people bring candy to do that. My stickers and bookmarks I make myself on the Cricut. They're free for people to come and pick up, even if they don't get a book. They're great conversation starters. And I like to personally display my books front and back so that people can see the cover very easily, and then they can also read the blurb. It depends on how much space you have and how you set up your table. One other fun thing that happens is that you're gonna be so inspired by other people's tables. Like, there's already so many other things that I want to do. Like, I'm so impressed with people's banners that they have up with their website. I just started including a newsletter sign up on my table recently, which that was actually pretty successful this time. So there's so much you can do with your table, and that is fun. You want it to be eye-catching, and you want to have someone there with you if at all possible. I think this is especially true for introverted people because your social battery might drain. So bring someone who fills you up, Bring someone who can also help you talk to people who might be familiar with your books, like a close friend, or bring someone who is a warm body so that you can run to the bathroom and your booth will still be staffed. So yes, try to bring someone. For me, I bring my bestie Heather anytime I can. Not only is she my best friend, so she totally fills my cup, but she's my cover artist too. So like double whammy, she can talk and get all of the praise she deserves for these beautiful covers. But yes, and while you're there, you do need to be engaged, right? It's tempting if it's slow to pick up your phone and start scrolling. I know it is for me too. You can't do that. Because if people see you on their phone, they're not going to come talk to you. They're not going to come to your booth. You need to like, oh, hey, how are you today? I love your shirt. You need to put on your extrovert hat and talk to people and draw them into you to have those great connections and to make the sales and the memories that you can afford to make. So that all said, is it worth it? This is what I was really thinking of when I decided to make this video, because 6 books is not a lot, right? And I've done other events where many more have gone out the door, but they've never covered the cost of the vendor fee, for sure. But what I will say is that you have a lasting sort of thing that it's much more difficult to calculate. But what happens is, A, you're making connections with other authors, which is super, super important because you can help each other out. B, you're making connections with readers, obviously important. They're gonna know your name now. You've given them a good experience. You can hand out your card with your information on it. They can follow you online or sign up for your newsletter. Even if they don't buy that day, those are easy things to achieve. And also, they're gonna bring that stuff home and remember you. And so you might see that you get more KU reads. You might see that someone has bought a book, but you don't know where it's from. And that's a little frustrating because you can't really attribute that to a specific event. But I have seen every single time I've done any event that in the week to follow, I have more page reads, more purchases, and I suspect strongly that even though a person may not have purchased at said event, they went home and purchased later. So you do kind of have some of that going on as well. And ultimately, it's just fun. It is. It's fun to get out into your community. It's fun to meet other people, and it's important to do. So if you can afford the vendor fee, I think, well, the conclusion that I came to for myself was that these are still worth doing. Now, I think it depends on where you're at in your career. I mean, if you're selling books like hotcakes and you've got a whole online community that's supporting you already, then maybe this is not as important. It's up, you make that decision, right? I also have been, I'm very privileged right now, and I know that, but I have been in a spot where I definitely could not have afforded vendor fees, and you've got to get creative and do other things. And that's really the thing to do, right? So if you want to do this and you just can't afford it, don't despair, because there are other ways to do it. I think partnering with indie bookstores in your town or local Barnes and Noble have been very good to me. They don't usually charge anything. And if you do it at a Barnes and Noble, they'll even usually purchase your books. And so it's just a time thing. You come and set up, you get to talk to lots of people. It's very much the same rigmarole that I just talked about, only you're in a Barnes and Noble. So you can meet readers and get out there without the vendor fee. They're just, you gotta think of different ways to do it. I hope this was helpful to anyone. I know this is a long video because of the topic today. However, I will say that I wrote over 9,000 words in just the last couple of weeks. So my new book is coming along really, really well. It's been so fun to write. I'm very excited about it. And I do have a Vote Your WIP segment for us today because I've been writing so much. So you tell me which is your favorite one in the comments. Let me know. Number 1, She wondered if it was stupid for her to sit outside. Perhaps Laura would rather be alone instead of alone together, and she was intruding. Number 2, Mabel wasn't trying to snoop. Well, maybe she was trying, but it was coming from a good place, a place of fear. And number 3, it's the obvious next step. Plus, the way you loiter here, gazing into a vacant shop, is getting weird. You're for sure going to attract the attention of local police. Let me know which is your favorite line. If you have questions about author events that I didn't cover, or tips for other authors that I didn't get to, pop them in the chat too, and I'll see you next week.